Rugby. All right. Well, I've been drinking all day and making a beast of myself. But most importantly, I've done some financial stuff. It's got me stressed out. It's probably why I had an extra 40. Recap, shall we? I, the Earl, had a career. Had a career in delivery, a decade. Switched over to independent contractor for security, taekwondo, and yoga, and then moved that into a multinational organization that paid me really, really well. And I worked there for almost a decade to where I bought my house. And now I've reached, at this point in time, 9 years, bought my house, 10 years, bam, decade at my job. I've got this house, I've got it dialed in. I feel confident after a year that I could pull this off. So what next? Thinking about retirement and investment and lifestyle. So the basics of retirement is having a small emergency fund. I've got that. Having a large rainy day fund. Like say I get injured and I'm out of work for 6 months, and my work will help take care of me as well. I've got other options, but I can't rely completely on that, right? You know, like who would? You would if you had complete faith in systems. So let's say my next step is to put 10 grand or 15 grand or 20 grand in a savings account and leave it alone. I think that if you have 10 grand or 20 grand in a savings account and you're not touching it, no matter what life throws at you, it's going to be these sine waves. It's not going to be a bump in the road or anything like that. It's going to be these gentle swoops. If something goes completely fucking crazy, like my house burns down, I have homeowner's insurance. I have my van, if I get in an accident, I have the maximum amount of insurance you can get on a vehicle. It's expensive. But it's worth it. It's like this deficit that prevents a greater deficit, you know? Malt liquor. That's what like having like 10 grand in the bank would be. It's like that 10 grand's not doing anything for you. It's just sitting in a savings account. It's costing you money because it's not making you any money. But it's there immediately if you need it. And that's insurance. So the next step, paying off all debt, which I have. I don't have any debt. And other than my house. And I've got no credit card debt, no student loans, no yada, yada, yada. So the next step after that is paying off my house, which is a gigantic undertaking. But I get the fucking sense of that. Like, my house costs X amount of money, but on top of that, over 30 years, it's this much interest, this much payment, this much interest. And that's another black hole. Like that money's going nowhere for no reason other than to support somebody else's system. Or rugby. So to pay off my house as fast as possible makes the most sense, because if I focus on my house as a tool for retirement, to get out of the interest pain on this as fast as possible makes some great sense. As opposed, like, so once the house is paid off, I don't have to pay any of that interest. Like tiny amount of house, gigantic amount of interest. I don't have to pay any of that. All that money I get back because I don't have to spend it. And then all that money that was going out every single month can then go back into my retirement. So I believe 50% of my paycheck could go into my 401k. And if I could live like that, then there's other accounts where I can start throwing retirement money into as well. Not to mention, how great would that be to not have these gigantic monthly payments? It's not going to happen right away, but how liberating would that be? Alright, well that's it. Except for it's such an interesting dichotomy of coming from the yin and yang, coming from a lifestyle where I had very little to no bills, and then coming from another aspect of not only do I have them, but I need to push myself as close to poverty as I can while having security in order to gain prosperity. That sounds like a bumper sticker. Oh gosh, and since I'm drunk, I'm going to show you one more book title. A book title that I like a lot.